Hello, I welcome you all to this lecture of vectors. So in today's class, we will extend whatever we learned last time. So the concepts we have learned till now regarding vectors are, we have learned the addition of vectors. That is, in the last lecture we learned, if two vectors are given to us, then in what way we can add and subtract them. And all that we have done is, we have used parallelogram law of vectors. Let's start today's class with a question based on the concepts that we have already learned. Let's say that we have two vectors A and B, and the magnitude of these vectors is given as 3 and 4 respectively. Now we have to find the value of magnitude of A plus B and A minus B when angle between A and B is these four cases. 1 is 0 degrees, 2 is 180 degrees, 3 is 90 degrees, and 4th is 120 degrees. So magnitude is given to us, we have to find the value of A and B. Let's actually see, first we'll apply the parallelogram law of vectors and then we'll verify through a diagram. You will find that it is very interesting that both the answers match. So A and B, first time the angle is 0, which means that A is this, let's say, and B is this. So graphically we know that both can be added straight away. That is, the resultant would be straight A bar plus B bar. But vectorially, how it is? Let's see. R, the formula is A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. This is the formula that we have learned. Now all that I will do is, every time I put in the values of angles, only this value of theta will change. A and B will remain the same because A is 3 and B is 4. That means A is how much? A is 3. That is the question that we ask when we ask the magnitude. So magnitude of a particular vector means how big the vector is. So in this case, A square is going to be, let's rewrite this expression now. A square plus B square, first time the angle is 0. So 2AB cos 0. We know that cos 0 is 1. So this is going to be like 2AB. And then when we find this is actually the root over of A plus B the whole square. And then this we get as A plus B. So A plus B is nothing but 4 plus 3, that is 7 units. This is going to be the magnitude of A bar plus B bar. In the second case, a slight change will happen. We know that cos of 180 from our knowledge of trigonometry is minus 1. So this will change as A square plus B square minus 2AB. So resultant will change as A square plus B square minus 2AB. And we'll get it as A minus B the whole square. So in this case, it's just going to be 3 minus 4. So root over of it would be 1. And it's quite okay because the first time A is this, that is A is 3 and this is going to be 4. So since they are opposite, the net vector is going to be minus 1. But we are interested only the magnitude. That is, when we talk about magnitude, we are interested only in the amount of quantity. We are not interested whether the sign is positive or negative. As far as magnitude is concerned, it is always going to be positive. So we'll take the next cases also, that is 90 degrees and 120 degrees. So let's do this and check. This is going to be a square plus b square plus 2ab cos 90. Now we know that cos 90 is actually 0. So this is going to be 0, the third term, that is 2ab cos 90. And this is going to come out as root over of 3 square plus 4 square. That is, resultant is 5. That means this is the magnitude of a plus b. Let's see the next case. A square plus b square plus 2ab cos of 120. This is the case. Then it's going to be a square plus b square, that is 3 square plus 4 square plus 2 into 3 into 4, because that is what we know, and cos of 120 is going to be minus half. So this 2 and 2 goes, and thus we get 25 minus 12. So 25 minus 12 is going to be root 13. So this is going to be the magnitude of mod of a plus b. So in all the 4 cases, we have found mod of a plus b. So now let's say we have 2 vectors. So we just continue with the last problem. A is 3, that's what is given to us, and b is 4 units. Now if we were supposed to find a plus b and a minus b, so let's say we are looking out for a minus b now. Now a bar minus b bar would be like, if this is b bar, then minus b bar would look something like this. So this would be a and this would be b, because in the last lecture we spoke that if this is b, then the negative of this vector will be exactly opposite. So a minus b would be something like this. And now you can see that the angle between the two is already 180 degrees. So if we have to find a minus b, the magnitude of this, we'll have to see the angle between the two, that is a square plus b square plus 2ab cos of 180. This is what we have to take for a minus b. So it would come out as a square plus b square plus 2ab cos 180 is minus 1, and hence this would be just a minus b, that is magnitude would be 1 unit. What will happen if it is 90 degrees? Let us see. So this is a and this is b. So if I were to find a minus b, a plus b, then what we do is we connect this way, and through the triangle law we know that the tail of the first vector should be connected to the head of the second vector. So it will be like this. This is the resultant, a bar plus b bar. This would be the resultant. And we could find this through the parallelogram law also. Just like we know that we have to complete the diagonal, and if we complete the diagonal, we extend this, and diagonal would give as this. So the resultant would be at 45 degrees. But if we were to find a minus b, then it means that we are looking out for this vector, and the resultant would be in this direction. That is, now we'll have to complete this parallelogram. So that is the difference. This will give us a plus b, and this will give us a minus b. So although in this case the diagram will look, the answer would look similar, that is in this case also you will get the magnitude as 5 units. This case also you will get the magnitude as 5 units, but direction will vary. So this would be above the x-axis, this would be below the x-axis, or this would be on top and this would be at the bottom. So I'm sure after seeing these problems and the concepts, you would have clearly by now you should have clearly understood what is A bar plus B bar and what is A bar minus B bar. In one another problem, let us say that one vector is A bar and the other vector is minus 4A bar. We have to find the angle between these two vectors. If that is the case, then you can clearly see that if this is A bar, then 4A bar would be 4 times this vector. That is, if this is the first vector, then the next vector would be 4 times that. Of course, I'll have to draw it 4 times. Would look something like this. But direction remains same because this is just multiplied by 4. It is the same vector but multiplied by 4 units. So this is 4 times the original vector. So angle in the first case is 0 degrees. But now what we want is, if this is A bar, then we are interested in the negative of this vector, that is minus 4A bar. So the angle between these two vectors is going to be 180 degrees. So you see the difference. This gives us the direction. We know that the direction is same for this and this. But if it's negative, then it is opposite to that of A bar. Hence theta will be 180 degrees. The next thing that we are going to talk about today is about unit vector. Unit vector. The name itself tells you that one has to come into this concept because it is unit. Now when we talk about vector, vector is something that has magnitude and direction. So the magnitude of this vector is going to be 1 unit and its direction can be anything. So if I say that there is x and y axis that we are talking about, this is positive y axis and this is positive x axis, this is negative x and this is negative y. Now you know that it's a unit vector along x. Let's say we are talking about a vector which is along x and which has unit magnitude. Then that vector is actually named as I cap. This is the notation of that vector. So if somebody asks you what is the magnitude of that I cap, it is 1. Similarly, if I want to specify a unit vector along y axis, it is given by j cap and the magnitude of this is given as 1 unit. And if you want to specify, if I just continue with this and I write the z axis also, then along z axis it will be given as k cap. So I, j, k, I cap, j cap and k cap are unit vectors along x, y and z axis respectively. Now what do these vectors do? Why we have to learn about these vectors? It means that it helps us locate the direction of the vector. These unit vectors are used to locate any random vector in xy plane. Let us see how. You can pause the video at this point and write down the notes. Let us see how these unit vectors actually help us. Let's say I have to locate a point phi comma phi in xy plane. Now this we have learned already in coordinate geometry. So it's going to be like, let's say this is that point and this is the origin 0 comma 0. So this is the x 5 units and this is the y 5 units. So it does not look symmetrical actually. Let me just correct it. Let's take that this is that point. This is that point 5 comma 5, which means that this point is 0 comma 5, this point is 5 comma 0. Now I have to locate this point in the vectorial plane or in the xy plane. Let's call it coordinate plane. So I would draw a vector which is given as this. And we have to define this vector. So anything which is there in the xy plane has to be defined. For example, if I want to write this vector, let's call this a bar. This a bar would be given as phi I cap plus phi j cap. So I cap means it is 5 units along x and it has gone 5 units above y. So this point if you want to locate, and let's say somebody wants to locate this point in xy plane and write the definition, then we can always say that if we walk 5 units along x and then 5 units along y, then we can locate this point. So that's what this means, that the person has walked 5 units along x and 5 units along y. Then we can say that now he is at phi I cap plus phi j cap. Similarly, let's say if we want to locate a point over here, that is minus phi comma phi. So because this is what? This is minus phi and this is phi. Then we can locate this vector as this. And now we'll call it a bar equals to minus phi I cap, because it is minus 5 units along x, and plus phi j cap. This is how we can locate this vector. Let's say we'll take another point here. We'll take this point as 3 comma minus 2. This would be defined as, let's say this vector is b, and this vector b is defined as 3 I cap, because it is 3 units along positive x, and minus 2 j cap, because it is minus 2 units along y axis. So this is how we can define any particular point in this, and this particular vector is called a position vector. This particular vector is called a position vector, wherein the vector is defined from origin to any point. So which means that if I am to generalize this case and I want to write any particular point in xy plane, then we can write it as r bar is equal to x I cap plus y j cap. If you want to find the magnitude of this, how much this vector is or how big this vector is, then it would be given by x square plus y square root over. So if I want to find the magnitude of this vector, you can clearly see that this is 5 units from here to here and this is 5 units from here to here. So obviously if you want to find how much this length is, we just have to use Pythagoras theorem, that is root over of phi square plus phi square. So the magnitude of, if r bar is given as phi I cap plus phi j cap, it means that this is that point. This is 5 units and this is 5 units. So this is 5 comma phi, and thus phi square plus phi square, this will be phi root 2. So magnitude of r bar would be given as phi square plus phi square is equal to root 25, that is phi root 2. Similarly, magnitude of b bar would be given as root over of 9 plus 4, that is root over of 3 square plus 2 square, that is root 13. So the magnitude of this would be root 13. Now let us go one step ahead and take some other examples and see how to find a magnitude and other details. Let's say this is the xy plane and this point is defined as 1 comma root 3. If this point is defined as 1 comma root 3, it means that this vector is going to be r bar is equal to I cap, that is 1 I cap, because it is 1 unit along x axis and it is root 3 units along positive y axis. So we can write this r bar as I cap plus root 3 j cap. So this is the x component, this is the y component, and naturally now we can find the magnitude of this. Root over of 1 square plus root over of root 3 square. So when we find this, we get the magnitude as 2, which means that the length of this is 2 units. So basically you are just applying Pythagoras theorem over here till this point. Now let us say we have to find this theta also. Now this is a very important stage, because if I say that this vector is having a magnitude of 2 units, that is not good enough to specify this, because this is a vector and hence we will have to specify the angle also. So how to find the angle? We can just find tan theta. You can see that tan theta would be root 3 by 1. So theta has to be 60 degrees. So this theta has to be 60 degrees. Now reverse, or going the other way, if I just say that the vector is I cap plus root 3 j cap, you can obviously locate this vector also. That means you know that the point is 1 comma root 3. If I just tell you that the vector is going to be minus I minus root 3 j cap, it means that the point will be here and that point will be minus 1 comma minus root 3. So the vector is going to be this. So now we are in a position and we can perfectly define this vector with respect to xy plane as r bar is a vector whose magnitude is 2 units and its direction is at an angle of 60 degrees with positive x. This is what we can say. Now if we can define any particular vector, let me write a general expression in terms of x and y and see, we can see what happens at that point of time. So now I am taking a general point in the xy plane, x comma y. Let us take this point. Now what I do is, I will write this any vector as r bar. This r bar I can write as x I cap plus y j cap. Why this? Because the person or the object is now covering x units here and then y units on top. Let's say this angle is theta. So now we can say that, I'll say that its magnitude is r units, some r units. Magnitude of r bar is some r units in general. Now from here we can make one observation, that x by r is going to be cos theta. From here x by r is going to be x cos theta, and thus we can write x as r cos theta. Similarly we can say that y by r is going to be sin theta because of trigonometry, and thus we get y is equal to r sin theta. Now we'll just rewrite the expression and the vector. So the vector was initially defined as x I cap plus y j cap, as we have written over here. But what is x? X is r cos theta. R cos theta I cap. And this we can write as r sin theta j cap. So which means that if we are given a vector whose magnitude is r units, then we can find the x component as r cos theta, and the y component of this vector is given as r sin theta. That is what we saw over here. So initially we were just saying it as x and y. Now we are saying it as r cos theta and r sin theta if this magnitude is known and if this angle is known. So these are called x and y components of a vector. So this is the x component of a vector, r cos theta, and this is the y component of a vector. Let's take another example. Let's say that this force, there is some force acting on a particular object, and this force is given as 30 units, 30 newtons. So the unit of force is newtons, hence we will take it as 30 newtons. And 30 newtons is acting at an angle of 30 degrees. If that is the case, then we'll have to find x and y components of this force F. If you have to do that, let's say this is 30 and this is x and this is y. So one thing from trigonometry we can write, that is sin theta. Sin theta is x by 30. But we know that sin 30 is going to be half. So I'll write half is equal to x by 30, which means that x is 15 units or 15 newtons. So we have found the x component. But from our formula that we had derived, we had readily defined it as x equals to r cos theta. In this also we can put the formulae, required details, and r is given as 30 and cos theta, so I'm sorry, this should be y. Sin theta is going to be y by 30 and cos theta is going to be x by 30. So cos theta is going to be x by 30. So x is given as 30 into root 3 by 2, that is 15 root 3 newtons. So that is how we can find out x and y. So all that I have taken in resolution in this finding, in this particular concept, what we do is we just take the sin theta and cos theta ratios. So we know that x equals to 30 cos 30 and y is equal to 30 sin 30. That is the answer to this question. Let's take one more example. Now we'll slightly change and we'll write the angle to this, that is, this is 30 degrees now, and let's say this is 10 newtons. So we have a slightly different situation now, wherein this is 30. Let's say this is x and this is y. So in this case, if you take the trigonometric ratio, then x will be 10 sine 30 and y will be 10 cos 30. So you can see that from this triangle, x by 10 is going to be sine 30. That is how I get this. And y by 10 is going to be cos 30. So given a particular triangle, we have to find the ratio and then resolve. Let's take another example. Let's say this is the vector now and this is alpha. It's given to us that this vector is 3, 6 I cap minus 8 j cap. This is the vector. We have to find the angle alpha. Now you can clearly see that if this is the vector, that means 6 is positive. So x is positive. This should be 6 because we are traveling 6 in the positive x. And this is 8. We are traveling 8 in the negative y. So if this is 6 and this is 8, this can be 8. So now we can write tan alpha as 8 by 6. So alpha is going to be tan inverse. So we write, when tan comes on this side, we write tan inverse as 4 by 3. So this is the angle alpha. Now this can be found out from trigonometric tables. Let's take one more example and see how to resolve the vectors. Let's say there is a vector which is having a magnitude of 10 units in this direction and this angle is given as 60 degrees. We have to find x component and y component of vector. So let's call this vector as a bar. So rule of thumb is that wherever the angle is attached, that is going to be the cos theta component and the other component is going to be sin theta component. For example, in this case, this component is going to be tan cos 60 and this component is going to be tan sin 60. So every time we don't have to calculate the trigonometric angle. Now in this case, let's say if in the same case this angle, we are referring to this angle 30 degrees, then this would be given as tan cos 30 and this component would be given as tan sin 30. You can of course verify these whether they are coming true from the trigonometric triangle. But to save time, we can have a rule of thumb that wherever the angle is attached, that is, wherever the angle is attached to that adjacent axis, along that axis it is going to be the cos theta component and along the other axis it is going to be the sin theta component. Let's take one more example. Let's say this is that and this is 30. So then this is going to be, let's say the magnitude is a units, this magnitude is going to be a cos 30. So this is the x component and this is going to be a sin 30. Similarly, if it was, this is a units and this is theta, then this component is going to be a cos 30, a cos theta, and this component is going to be a sin theta. Let's take up this problem based on the components of a vector. So in this case, there is a vector given to you wherein the x component is given as, this component is 25 units and this component is given as 60 units. We have to find the magnitude and direction of the vector and write this particular vector. Let's say that we have this vector, and in general we can write this vector as xi cap plus yj cap. That's what we saw. So x component is given to us 25 and y component is 60. So we know, and the vector can be written now as 25 I cap plus 60 j cap. That's it. And if this is that point to be located, so this becomes the vector, and you can clearly now see that this is 25 and this also will be 60. So we can find the angle of this as tan theta is equal to 60 by 25. So it's going to come as tan theta is equal to 12 by 5. And then we can find theta from this details. So all that we have done is we have found the vector and we have found the magnitude and direction. Yes, now of course if you want to find the magnitude, we know that the magnitude of this is going to be root over of 25 square plus 60 square. This is the magnitude of this vector. This comes as 65 units. Let's go to the next concept now. In this particular concept, we are going to learn a different method for addition. So till now, we have learned triangle law and parallelogram law. But the trick over here is, whenever we were adding two vectors, it was just two vectors that we were adding. What if there are 3 vectors, 4 vectors or 5 vectors in a plane and we have to add them? Let us take an example and see what I am trying to say. Let's say that this is the xy plane and this vector is a bar, and this vector, let's say that its x component is going to be ax and y component is going to be ay. This vector, let us say, is b and its x component is bx and y component is by. So I can define these two vectors as a bar is equal to ax I cap and this is going to be ay j cap, and b bar is going to be bx I cap plus by j cap. Now if I have to add them, I'll have to add the x components, that is a bar plus b bar is going to be this plus this, ax plus bx I cap and ay plus by j cap. Now to give an example, let's say a bar is actually 3 I cap plus 4 j cap and b bar is equal to 3 I cap minus 2 j cap. If you have to add them, then simply it's going to be very simple. 3i plus 3i, that is 6i cap, and 4j minus 2j, that's going to be 2j cap. If you have to find subtraction, a bar minus b bar, it is going to be 3i minus 3i, that's 0, and this minus is going to give us 6j cap. Now in this problem, we have been given two vectors. One is having a magnitude of 2 units and it is at 60 degrees, and the other one is having a magnitude of 3 units and it is at 30 degrees to negative x-axis. First thing that we'll do is find x and y components of each. Let's call this a bar for convenience and call this b bar. Now x component of a bar, I'll write it as ax, x component of a bar. If I want to find ax, it is going to be nothing but 2 cos 60 as we have learnt. So this is going to be 2 cos 60, and ay, that is y component of a bar, is going to be 2 sin 60. So in all, I can write this a bar now as ax I cap plus ay j cap, which means that this vector can be written as 2 cos 60 I cap plus 2 sin 60 j cap, because that is how we define the basic vector. So 2 cos 60 is going to be 2 into half I cap plus this is going to be 2 into root 3 by 2 j cap. So after simplification we get the vector as I cap plus root 3 j cap. So now can you see something? This vector is actually I cap plus 3 j cap. What we were doing a few minutes earlier was that I was giving you this and you were going to this, because we would locate the point as 1 comma root 3, then we would find the magnitude by finding its root over of 1 square plus 3 square, root 3 square, we would get it as 2 units, and then we would find tan theta. That is what we did. Now we have come the reverse way, and given these details we can find out the vector also now. So this is that vector. Similarly, we can find this vector as well. So that vector is going to be b bar is equal to, so this is going to be 3 cos 30 I cap, that is the x component, and the y component is going to be 3 sin 30 j cap. So which means that this b bar could now be written as 3 into cos 30, that is root 3 by 2 I cap. This would be 3 into half j cap. So we can write it as 3 root 3 by 2 I cap plus 3 by 2 j cap. This is b bar. So I have now defined a bar and b bar, and we can directly add them and we can get the resultant vector. So a bar plus b bar is going to be I cap plus this I cap and this j cap plus this j cap. So after addition, a bar plus b bar would look like 1 plus 3 root 3 by 2 I cap, that is this plus this, and then it would look like 3 by 2 plus root 3, 3 by 2 plus root 3 j cap. Now although the numbers look complex over here, the main point that you have to understand is getting the vectors till this stage from the given stage. So you have been given some data, and then we have to arrive at this conclusion that given the magnitude and angle, how can we find the actual vector representation of a particular vector? Let's take one example and try to understand the application of resolution of vectors. So resolution of vector means finding their x component and y component. Now there is a person, he travels 5 meters at 37 degrees, then he travels east 3 meters, and he travels north 2 meters. We have to find the resultant of the vector or you have to find a resultant of displacement. So now what we are going to do is, we will write x component of all vectors, write x component of all vectors and add them. This is the first thing. Similarly, we will write y component of all vectors and add them. Out of this, we will get final x component, and out of this, we will get final y component. Let us see, let us try this. So one information that you got to have is that the value of sine 37 is 3 by 5 and value of cos 37 is 4 by 5. This is what you have to remember in physics, because this is often used in physics. So these are the, just like you remember sine 30 and sine 60, cos 45 and all that, you have to remember this data as well. Now let me write the x component of the first vector. So this is the vector and its x component. Let's call this as a bar, this is b and this is c. So x of a bar, ax, we will write as 5 cos 37. That's what we know. Bx is going to be 3 because the vector itself is along 3, is along x-axis. So it's going to be 3 units. And this is going to be 5 into 4 by 5. That comes to 4 units, 4 meters. This is going to be 3 meters. And finally, we will write Cx also. So Cx is going to be 2. You can clearly see that the entire vector is along y-axis. There is no component along x-axis. So if you want to write it, we can write it as 2. Let's say this angle is 90. So the vector, the x component is going to be 2 cos 90. Cos 90 is 0. So anytime if a vector is totally vertical, that is along y-axis, there is no x component for this. You can clearly see because the entire vector is along y-axis. If this is the vector that is along x-axis, it won't have any vertical component or y component. So entire vector is along x-axis. So we can say no y component for this. A similar thing is happening with this vector also. You can write the x component of this as 3 cos 0 and the y component of this as 3 sin 0, which means that it is going to be 0 and the entire vector is along x-axis. So this is what it is. So the net x component is going to be this plus this plus this. It's going to be 7 meters. This is what we have understood. Let's write the y component as well. The y component of this vector is going to be ay, that is 5 sine 37. That comes out as 5 into 3 by 5, which is 3 meters. The y component of this is going to be 0 because the entire vector is horizontal. By is going to be 0. And the y component of this vector is going to be 2 units because the entire vector is vertical. So now we get the y component as 3 plus 0 plus 2, that is 5 meters. So now the resultant vector of these 3 vectors is going to be 7i cap plus 5j cap. And thus now we are in a position to find out the displacement of this person who was traveling in some direction. So finally, if this is our r bar, then on the xy plane it can be represented with the point 7, 5 and this is that vector. So this is 7 and this along y is going to be 5 units. So theta, tan theta can be found out as 5 by 7. This is the angle. So in this way we can find components of x and y, and we can find out the entire vector. Also we can find a direction from this. So this method of addition of vectors is to be used when there are more than 3 vectors to be added, or more than 2 vectors to be added. Because for 2 vectors, if we know the angle and magnitude, we can use parallelogram law of vectors. Let's take the last problem for the day, and this will bring some clarity with respect to resolution of vectors. So this is one vector given to us whose magnitude is 5 units, and this is acting at an angle of 45 degrees. This is another vector along x-axis. Let's say this is OB, and this is another vector which is along y-axis. This is the third vector along y-axis, which is OC. Now it's given to us that resultant of 3 vectors is 0. This information is given to us in prior. We have to find magnitude of OB and OC bar, that is this vector and this vector. So now if the resultant of the vector is 0, that means the total x component that we find after addition should be 0, and total y component that we find after addition should also be 0. Now if we add them, let's see, we will call these vectors as A, B and C for convenience. So Ax is going to be 5 cos 45 according to the definition. So it is 5 by root 2. Bx is going to be in this direction. Let us call it B. And Cx, you can see that the vector is totally vertical. So as discussed earlier, it won't have any horizontal component because it is totally vertical. So Ecx is 0. Now you can see that this vector B, this is along negative. This is along negative, so we'll call it minus 5 cos 45, because this will be the x component and this will be the y component. So if we add them, then we will get minus 5 by root 2 plus B is going to be 0, which means that B should be 5 by root 2. Let's do the same process for y also. So AY is going to be A sine 45, 5. So this is going to be 5 by root 2. And this vector, as you can see, is downwards. So we will write as Cy is equal to minus C. Or we'll write it as, yes, we'll write it as minus C. By, you can see that there is no component for y because it is totally horizontal. So this is going to be 0. And then when we add this, we'll get the net y component as 0, that is minus C plus 5 by root 2 is going to be 0. So C will be 5 by root 2. Now we are in a position to define clearly B and C. So B can be given as 5 by root 2 I cap, because it is just defined along x-axis and there is no y for it. This can be defined as minus 5 by root 2 j cap, because it is defined along negative y-axis.